is Tina from Inner Delight, and I'm delighted to be here for another Joyful Connections episode. And this time joining me is the beautiful Leanne Thomas, calling all the way from San Francisco region. Hi, Leanne.
Hi, thank you so much, Tina. I'm excited.
Yeah, this is so great to have the opportunity to connect in this way. You have a website called angelichope.com and offer angel readings and a whole lot more. I would love for you to share a little bit how you came on this path and what is it that really makes your heart sing?
Well, when I was very little, I started seeing angels. And I don't really know that I started seeing them. I probably always did. But I have memories of playing with my Barbies and the angels. So there's one particular memory I have of being around 4 years old, running into the kitchen to get a glass of water, stepping on the step stool, my mom watching my little sister and asking me what I was doing. And I said, I'm getting a glass of water and then I'm going back to play with my Barbies and the angels. And
Oh.
yeah, it's kind of a cute story, only that my mother came in a few moments later after putting my sister down and settling her and all of that, and sat on the edge of my bed and explained to me how we can't really see angels. And so I just went okay and went on with my day and playing. And so I just thought over time, I kept being told that I have this very vivid imagination. My mom would say that all the time, or she'd ask me not to say things. Don't say that to someone. Because, I would know things about people and it would be a little creepy probably. But being little, you don't really know that. So for me, it started very little, but in a very lighthearted way. I don't remember seeing anything that was very scary or like faces coming through the wall or things like that. I don't have those kinds of memories. I did have very vivid dreams as a child, and my mom would just say, again, I have a very vivid imagination, but I had a feeling that I was seeing things that were happening. So it's kind of something that I did my whole life, but it wasn't embraced by my family. So I took a pretty traditional track of eventually and got my first master's degree in reading as a reading specialist. So I work at a school district and I teach reading to kids who struggle with reading. Then got a second master's degree in educational leadership and am able to open a school or be a principal of a school. I still continue to work with children because that's what I love most. And right around the age of 32, Spirit started tapping on me more and more and more. So I could no longer just brush it off or push it aside. So I started reading everything I could to get my hands on to learn what this was. Because in my mind, from the way I was raised, I was either crazy or I was connecting into something evil. And so that frightened me. And I wasn't necessarily seeing anything evil or seeing anything scary. I was just really picking up on what I call hits on people. So if somebody was having an emotional situation, I may just walk by them at a restaurant on a table and think to myself, oh, that's so sad. She wants to have a baby. She can't have a baby. But I would have never met the person. I wouldn't know them. So I would think, I'm so strange. Why would I feel these things or think these things about these people? And so as I began reading and discovering what was happening to me, I was figuring, I don't think I'm crazy. I think I might be doing this, what they call mediumship, or maybe tapping in psychically. And so I ended up meeting a woman who speaks to the angels that lives in the area where I live. And while she was giving me a reading, which was difficult for me to even go to, I was so afraid. I thought, why am I doing this? But I kept being pulled and drawn to things. I think a lot of people in the world right now are being pulled and drawn to things that are outside of their comfort zone. So I went to see this woman, even though I was surrounded by so much fear. Am I going to be talking to the devil? Is the devil going to be influencing
Yeah.
her? Those kinds of things. I'm glad to know now there really isn't a devil. But anyway, So
Another segment.
another segment, right? And so when I went to see her, I could see and was getting visions of everything that she was telling me. And so it was an opening experience for me. On the car ride home after the reading I had had with her, my grandfather came and he sat in the chair in the seat next to mine in the passenger seat, and a song came on that he was giving to me, and the words were very profound. I cried all the way home, have no idea how I got there. I mean, I think that was probably worse than drunk driving, but I was completely sober. Completely sober. And I got home and I had the most profound feeling of peace, that everything was going to be okay, and that my life was going to change. Then ended up a few months later taking a class from the same woman that I had the reading with, and it was on for me. I picked up on a lot of validating information for the people that were there in the class, and had real physical experiences. And for me, that I'm very logical. I have 2 master's degrees. I'm a teacher. I'm very straight and narrow. And it was when I had gotten thrown off a cliff and through a windshield of a car and had my head chopped off and was choked. When I had those real physical experiences in my body, I knew that I wasn't crazy, that I wasn't making all of these things up in my head all along. It was a connection that I had had to spirit. It just took me a while to open it up and then begin to use it. Mm-hmm. And once I did that, it's like spirit just started bringing me all kinds of things. I was listening to a radio show once, and the host sent me a message. I was just in there listening to the show, and they sent me a message saying, I'm hearing from spirit, you need to be on my show. And I'm new. I don't know what I'm doing. You don't really want to have me on. But I did go on. They insisted I did go on, and it was on since then, as far as giving readings and connecting in for people and doing other radio shows. And in that 4-year period for me, I have taken other courses and healing classes, and now work with energy. I have studied with Deborah King, going to be studying with Dr. Eric Pearl, studied with Lisa Williams, and completed her advanced mediumship course, and now I'm a featured reader for her on her website, as well as being tested with Best American Psychics, and am a featured reader on their website as well. So it seems that once you open your heart to spirit, they will take you on a ride that will change your life. So that's kind of my journey through life and these experiences. But what I've come to learn along the way is that even though very much my family has really tried to keep this quiet and not bring it to the forefront, that the women in my family do this. I do a radio show now with my cousin, who is amazing and fantastic. One of the most beautiful people in the world I've ever met, Christina Nelson. We do a radio show called Intuitive Connections on Blog Talk Radio. And I've come to discover that my sister, my mother, and Christina's mother also connects into spirit in various ways. Mm-hmm. Now, my sister and my mother and my aunt don't practice this or give others readings, but they have experiences similar to what I had had all along. Mm-hmm. It's just they've chosen a different path in life. And there's also, with my mother and my aunt, a lot of fear around this with the way they were raised. Mm.
So are you able to talk with them, though, about how you're experiencing things now? Have they been able to kind of acknowledge that they also have this connection? And
yes, my sister is very supportive with it. And my mom is willing to listen and pay attention, but she keeps reminding me that she doesn't want to do this. I think that it's just at the stage she's at in her life, she's not necessarily wanting to fully open up. And so and I think it may be really, I did a lot of deprogramming to strip away some of the religious programming that I had being raised. And I think the generation before me may have more struggles with that. So they are open to listening, but I get a lot of warnings, watch out for the devil, pay attention that you know what you're doing, you know. And so they're still a little on the fence, my mom and my aunt.
Wow. How great, though, to have that, have that in the family. And so what is it that you just enjoy the absolute most? What makes your heart sing?
For me, it's when giving a reading and making that connection and bringing in the evidence and the validating information that their loved one on the other side is there, loving them and around them. That's, I think, what brings me the most joy is seeing that the healing
Mm-hmm.
and the connection that can be made for that person to know that life goes on, the fear that gets dropped,
Mm.
and the open heart and the love that comes through at those points when people connect in with a loved one that they've lost. It really does help the grieving process at a certain point. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that everybody get a reading right when they've lost someone because they do need time to heal and process. But once they have, just knowing that there's this side of us, this part of us that goes on, brings so much love and joy to the person you're sitting there with or you're speaking with this, that's why I do it.
Mm. So do you have maybe one experience that you can recall reading that's something that really, really touched you? It stands
Oh,
out from the others?
I had a client that had a mother that had crossed over, and the relationship between them was not a positive one when she was alive. But the daughter that was still here um, never gave up trying while her mother was alive. And her mother that crossed came through and was very much herself, and was talked about how she was harsh and how the punishments that she gave. And then she said, "I'm sorry.
Mm.
I realized what I did and that I was wrong." And then she gave evidence of some of the things that she did, and that changed everything
Mm.
for her daughter. She was able to process the difficult childhood that she had and then went on to change her life.
Mm.
And so,
Beautiful.
yeah, those stories aren't like so necessarily unique, but those are the ones I remember. I mean, I'll get really funny names like a grandfather for a client took his teeth out once and showed me his teeth. I mean, and that's something that his granddaughter would have known. And so you get really great, funny stories like that. And that it's very healing and validating to the person listening because that's so strange, taking your teeth out. She knew exactly, and that's something that he did regularly to make her laugh. And so you get those kind of funny stories. But for me, it's the healing that takes place that allows somebody to move forward in their life and to drop a lot of fear or pain that they've been holding on to for years and years.
Mm. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah. Gosh, well, I know you have a lot more to share, so we're going to be talking about more in a little bit. But if people would like to connect with you and to have a session with you, they can go to your website, angelichope.com. And is there anything you would like to say to wrap up this Joyful Connections moment?
Right. I just hope that everybody who's having experiences gives themselves an opportunity to connect in.
Mm-hmm.
We all can connect in. We're all intuitive. And the truth is, the veil is getting thinner, so we even have more opportunities to make those connections. So seek somebody reputable in your area and begin that process for yourself of healing.
Wonderful. Thanks, Leanne. It's such a joy to be having time
Thank
with
you.
you here. And, well, until the next time, many joyful blessings. Thank
Thank you.
you.